Godzilla Across the Stars. Battles Beyond Earth. Introduction. The king of monsters leaves Earth. For centuries, Godzilla has been Earth's ultimate protector and destroyer, a force of nature whose very presence strikes fear and awe. From battling colossal kaiju in the depths of the ocean to facing off against mechanized titans in the heart of human civilization, Godzilla's legend is deeply intertwined with our planet. But what happens when the king of monsters ventures beyond Earth, into the vast unknown of space? The universe is teeming with mysteries, dangers, and creatures beyond human comprehension. Alien civilizations, monstrous entities, and cosmic warlords exist in the far reaches of the galaxy, some watching Earth with curiosity, others with hunger. As interstellar threats arise, Godzilla finds itself forced to leave its home and take the battle to the stars. This is the story of Godzilla's greatest intergalactic wars, battles against unimaginable foes on distant planets, where the very laws of nature are different, and survival is a test of raw power, adaptation, and fury. Chapter 1. The Call Beyond the Stars. It all began with a mysterious signal from deep space. Astronomers detected an unusual energy surge emanating from the Andromeda Galaxy, an anomaly unlike anything recorded before. Scientists theorized that it could be the result of an immense celestial event, but soon, the truth became clear. It was a distress call. Something, or someone, was warning Earth of an impending invasion. Before humanity could react, the skies darkened with an armada of monstrous spacecraft. The Zelathans, an ancient race of interstellar conquerors, had set their sights on Earth. These creatures, enormous in size and driven by an insatiable hunger, sought to drain the planet of its energy, leaving it a lifeless husk. The world's military forces were powerless against them. Weapons proved ineffective, and the Zelathans' biotechnological warships easily bypassed Earth's defenses. But then, from the depths of the ocean, a familiar roar echoed across the planet. Godzilla, sensing the threat, emerged. With devastating atomic breath and raw, unstoppable strength, Godzilla tore through the invaders, obliterating their forces. However, as the final ship retreated, it activated a powerful gravity well, pulling Godzilla into the void of space. The king of monsters was no longer confined to Earth. Its journey through the stars had begun. Chapter 2. A New Battlefield. The Storm Planet Zephyron. Drifting through the cosmos, Godzilla crash-landed on an unknown planet. This was Zephyron, a world of perpetual storms, where hurricanes raged with winds faster than any recorded on Earth. The very atmosphere crackled with energy, and the ground trembled beneath an unseen force. Godzilla, ever the survivor, quickly adapted to the new environment, drawing power from the planet's electrified air. But it was not alone. Towering above the stormy peaks was Voltron, a monstrous entity formed from living plasma, worshipped as a god by the planet's native life forms. Sensing an intruder, Voltron attacked. The battle that followed was unlike anything seen before. Bolts of living lightning clashed with Godzilla's atomic breath, turning the skies into a battlefield of fire and electricity. Godzilla, though an apex predator on Earth, had never faced a being that existed in a state of pure energy. However, even in this hostile world, the king of monsters proved its might. By channeling the planet's own energy through its dorsal plates, Godzilla unleashed a devastating supercharged atomic pulse, dispersing Voltron's plasma form and claiming victory. As the storm settled, a portal opened in the sky. The planet's ancient beings, known as the Zephyrites, revealed themselves. They were the ones who had sent the distress call. Godzilla's true battle was yet to come. Chapter 3. War on the Wasteland Planet, Krythos. The Zephyrites transported Godzilla to a dying planet on the edge of the galaxy, Krythos. Once a lush paradise, it had been reduced to a barren wasteland by an unspeakable horror, the devourer of worlds, Gorathos. Gorathos was no ordinary kaiju. A living planet-eater, its body was composed of shifting black tendrils that absorbed all energy it touched. Even the mightiest creatures fell before it, their life forces drained into its ever-hungry core. If Gorathos reached Earth, it would consume everything in its path, leaving nothing behind. As Godzilla set foot on Krythos, Gorathos emerged from the shadows. The battle began. Godzilla's atomic breath, usually capable of leveling entire cities, barely fazed the monstrous entity. Every attack was absorbed, every movement countered. The King of Monsters had finally met an opponent that could not be overpowered by brute force alone. Realizing this, Godzilla adapted. Tapping into the energy reserves from its fight on Zephyron, it unleashed a thermonuclear shockwave, sending ripples across the battlefield. But Gorathos was relentless, its tendrils ensnaring Godzilla, draining its strength. In a final act of defiance, Godzilla tapped into its ultimate form, the burning Godzilla state. With an explosion that shook the very core of Krythos, Gorathos was obliterated, reduced to cosmic dust. Though victorious, Godzilla was weakened. The battle had taken its toll, and the journey was far from over. The King of Monsters was now a warrior of the stars, destined to face even greater threats. To be continued. Godzilla's journey across the cosmos had only just begun. The battles would grow fiercer, the enemies more powerful, and the fate of Earth would hang in the balance. Would Godzilla find its way back home, or was it doomed to roam the universe, forever fighting in a war beyond the stars? One thing was certain. The roar of the King of Monsters would echo across the cosmos for all eternity. Godzilla Across the Stars. Battles Beyond Earth. Chapter 4. The Crimson Planet and the Tyrant Kaiju, Blazorg. As Godzilla drifted through space, its body weak from the battle against Gorathos, it was drawn toward a nearby celestial body. This was Pyros 9, a scorched, volcanic planet with rivers of molten lava cutting through the cracked landscape. The air was thick with sulfur, and the ground trembled as if the world itself was alive. Pyros 9 was not uninhabited. A massive, fire-breathing kaiju known as Blazorg, the infernal tyrant, ruled the planet with an iron grip. Blazorg was a creature of pure destruction, its body covered in jagged obsidian armor, its eyes burning like twin suns. Legends spoke of it as a god of war, a being that had annihilated entire civilizations that dared to challenge its rule. As Godzilla's colossal form crashed onto the lava-strewn terrain, Blazorg immediately took notice. The ground split open as the fiery monster emerged from the planet's core, its roar shaking the heavens. It saw Godzilla as an invader, a challenger to its dominion. The battle began in an explosion of fire and fury. Blazorg's hellflame breath, a stream of superheated plasma, scorched everything in its path. Godzilla countered with its atomic breath, the two beams colliding in a spectacular explosion that sent shockwaves across the planet. But Pyros 9 was Blazorg's domain. It drew power from the very magma beneath its feet, regenerating faster than Godzilla had ever seen. Every wound Godzilla inflicted sealed within seconds, and for the first time, the King of Monsters found itself on the defensive. Realizing brute force alone wouldn't be enough, Godzilla changed tactics. Instead of direct confrontation, it lured Blazorg toward a massive lava geyser. At the perfect moment, Godzilla delivered a devastating tail slam to the ground, triggering a volcanic eruption that engulfed Blazorg in a hellish inferno. Though Blazorg was powerful, it could not withstand the overwhelming force of Pyros 9's own core. With a final, agonized roar, the infernal tyrant was consumed by the very flames that had once empowered it. Godzilla, victorious but exhausted, turned its gaze to the stars. It was time to move on. Chapter 5. The Shadow War on the Frozen Moon, Nocturnia. Leaving the burning wastelands of Pyros 9 behind, Godzilla drifted toward a strange celestial body, a moon that appeared to be engulfed in perpetual darkness. This was Nocturnia, a frozen world orbiting a dying star, its surface covered in endless tundras and jagged ice formations. But something was wrong. The planet felt empty. There was no wind, no sound, no signs of life. Yet Godzilla sensed something. Something watching. Then, without warning, they attacked. From the shadows emerged the nocturne beasts, a swarm of terrifying creatures that moved like living nightmares. These creatures, jet black with glowing red eyes, could phase in and out of reality, striking from the darkness and disappearing before Godzilla could counterattack. For the first time, Godzilla was outnumbered. The nocturne beasts tore at its flesh, their claws coated in a strange, energy-draining venom that weakened even the mighty Titan. The more Godzilla fought, the weaker it became. It needed a new strategy. Summoning the last of its strength, Godzilla let out a hypercharged atomic pulse, illuminating the entire battlefield in blinding blue energy. The shadows burned away, revealing the true nature of the nocturne beasts. They weren't organic beings, but living darkness, entities that could only exist in the absence of light. Realizing this, Godzilla unleashed its thermal radiation mode, increasing its body heat to unimaginable levels. The ice beneath it melted, turning into a burning sea of steam. The nocturne beasts screeched as their shadowy forms disintegrated in the light. With one final nuclear shockwave, Godzilla eradicated the last of the nocturne beasts, their wails fading into the void. As the darkness lifted, the moon's hidden inhabitants emerged, an ancient, forgotten race that had lived in terror of the nocturne beasts for centuries. Godzilla had unknowingly freed an entire world from the grip of darkness. But there was no time to celebrate. A new danger loomed on the horizon. Chapter 6: The Celestial Colossus, Zerathaion. Far beyond the reaches of known space, a massive object was moving toward Godzilla's location. At first, it appeared to be a planet-sized asteroid, but as it drew closer, its true form was revealed. This was Zerathaion, the Celestial Colossus, an ancient biomechanical kaiju as large as a moon. It was neither fully organic nor fully mechanical, a fusion of alien technology and kaiju DNA, created by an unknown civilization lost to time. Zerathaion had no master. It was a self-sustaining entity, driven only by a single purpose: to absorb and assimilate all life forms into itself. As Godzilla prepared for battle, Zerathaion extended its massive tendrils, attempting to latch onto the king of monsters. Godzilla dodged, but the tendrils moved with impossible speed, wrapping around its body and siphoning energy from its core. For the first time, Godzilla felt true fear. Zerathaion was draining its very essence, converting its power into fuel for itself. If Godzilla didn't act fast, it would become nothing more than another part of the cosmic Titan. Summoning its last reserves of strength, Godzilla entered thermonuclear meltdown mode, its body glowing with an intense golden hue. It roared with unimaginable fury, unleashing a planet-cracking atomic shockwave that tore through Zerathaion's metallic shell. But the battle wasn't over. Even as Godzilla's energy scorched its body, Zerathaion regenerated at a rapid pace, adapting to the attack. The creature was learning. Realizing this, Godzilla had only one option left: a direct core overload. Drawing in every last ounce of energy, it launched itself at Zerathaion's exposed core and detonated in a supernova burst, sending shockwaves across the galaxy. As the explosion faded, Zerathaion was no more. Godzilla, though victorious, was left adrift in space, its energy completely depleted. It had won the battle, but at what cost? To be continued. Godzilla had faced horrors beyond imagination, from shadow-born monstrosities to celestial titans. But this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, and somewhere in the darkness, even greater threats awaited. Would Godzilla return to Earth? Or was it now destined to become the eternal guardian of the cosmos? Only time would tell. Chapter 7: The Return of King Ghidorah, a Cosmic Resurrection. Drifting through the void, Godzilla was weak, its energy nearly depleted from the battle against Zerathaion. But the universe does not rest, and neither do its threats. Far beyond the edge of the known galaxy, in a dark sector of space, an ancient force was awakening. The cosmic radiation released by Godzilla's supernova burst had reactivated something thought to be long destroyed: King Ghidorah. This was not the same Ghidorah Godzilla had once fought on Earth. This was Neo Ghidorah, a resurrected and enhanced version, its cells fused with alien biotechnology. The remnants of the Zelithan Empire, seeking revenge on the monster that had destroyed their invasion fleet, had reconstructed Ghidorah into a biomechanoid apex predator. Now stronger than ever, Neo Ghidorah set out on a singular mission to hunt down and destroy Godzilla once and for all. Chapter 8: The Battle on the Broken World, Tartarus 5. Godzilla, barely conscious, was pulled by the gravitational force of a desolate planet, Tartarus 5, a fragmented world on the edge of a dying black hole. Once a thriving civilization, it had been ravaged by celestial wars, its surface now a wasteland of shattered cities and floating debris. As Godzilla landed, it sensed something approaching. The sky darkened, lightning crackled, and the air vibrated with an otherworldly screech. Then through the storm, Neo Ghidorah descended. The monstrous dragon had evolved beyond recognition. Its scales shimmered with metallic plating, its wings crackled with antimatter energy, and its eyes glowed with malevolent intelligence. The battle that followed would be one for the ages. Neo Ghidorah struck first, unleashing its void lightning, a purple-hued energy attack that shattered the floating islands around them. Godzilla roared in defiance, launching an atomic breath strike, but Neo Ghidorah's reinforced armor absorbed the blast. The two titans clashed, shaking the planet's crumbling remains. Godzilla wrestled Neo Ghidorah's middle head, only for the left and right heads to bite down, siphoning energy from its body. Neo Ghidorah's parasitic evolution mode allowed it to steal Godzilla's power, growing stronger with each second. For the first time, Godzilla was outmatched. Realizing it could not win in a battle of strength alone, Godzilla shifted its strategy. It lured Neo Ghidorah toward a massive chasm, where unstable energy cores from the planet's past wars still lay dormant. With a last, desperate move, Godzilla unleashed a spiral heat ray, triggering a chain reaction that sent Neo Ghidorah plummeting into the abyss. As the explosion engulfed the battlefield, only one Titan remained standing. But Godzilla knew this war was far from over. Chapter 9: The Celestial Pantheon. The gods of the universe intervene. The destruction of Neo Ghidorah sent shockwaves across the cosmos, drawing the attention of the Celestial Pantheon, a council of ancient, godlike kaiju that governed the balance of power in the universe. Among them were Solmora, the light-born colossus, a being of pure energy that maintained cosmic equilibrium. Tethrax, the planet reaper, an ancient dragon that consumed dying worlds. Omegon, the arbiter of kaiju, the ultimate judge of titanic creatures. The pantheon saw Godzilla as both a savior and a threat. It had saved countless planets from destruction but had also disrupted the natural order with its growing power. Thus, they made a decree: Godzilla must be tested. If it fails, it will be exiled to the abyssal void, never to return. A new challenge awaited. Chapter 10: The Trial of Titans, Godzilla vs. the Pantheon's Champion. The Pantheon summoned their chosen warrior, a creature as old as time itself, Dragonox, the first kaiju, an entity from the dawn of the universe. Dragonox was unlike anything Godzilla had ever faced. Its body was composed of living stardust, its claws could slice through space-time, and its roar could collapse entire dimensions. It was the ultimate test of survival. As Dragonox descended, the battlefield transformed into a shifting landscape of cosmic energy. The fight would not be fought on any single planet, but across multiple realities. The battle was fierce. Godzilla's atomic breath, which had obliterated entire armadas, barely scratched Dragonox's celestial hide. In return, Dragonox struck with reality fracture blades, phasing through Godzilla's defenses and causing wounds that did not heal. Godzilla was pushed to its limits. But then, something unexpected happened. It began to evolve. Through the energy absorbed from previous battles, Godzilla transcended its limits, unlocking its ultimate form. Godzilla Ultima Prime, the cosmic destroyer. This new form was beyond anything seen before. Its dorsal plates glowed with cosmic energy, its eyes burned with the fire of 1,000 stars, and its body radiated an aura of pure destruction. With a single step, Godzilla shattered the battlefield, dragging Dragonox into the Void Nexus, a place where no being could regenerate. With one final supernova Omega Beam, Godzilla erased Dragonox from existence. The Pantheon, witnessing this power, knew they could no longer control Godzilla. Instead of punishing it, they acknowledged it as the true apex of the universe. Godzilla had ascended beyond legend. It was now the king of all titans, the guardian of the cosmos. Final chapter. The return to Earth, the ultimate decision. With the universe safe, Godzilla faced a choice: return home to Earth or remain a cosmic guardian, forever fighting in the void. As it gazed upon the distant blue planet, a feeling of nostalgia surged within it. Earth was where it had been born, where it had fought its greatest battles, where its legend had begun. And so, the King of Monsters made its decision. With one final hyperwarp roar, Godzilla surged through the cosmos, breaking through the fabric of space-time, returning home. As it descended into Earth's atmosphere, humanity looked up in awe. Their protector had returned, stronger than ever. But the universe was vast, and its horrors endless. And so, Godzilla remained ever vigilant, knowing that one day, the stars would call upon it once more. Chapter 11. The Awakening of the Omega Leviathan. The universe is never at peace. After returning to Earth, Godzilla enjoyed a rare moment of peace. The oceans were calm, the skies clear, and for the first time in eons, there was no immediate threat to the planet. But the universe is never at peace for long. Far beyond the reaches of the known galaxies, in the dark heart of the void, something immense was stirring. An entity so ancient and powerful that even the celestial pantheon feared its name: the Omega Leviathan. Unlike any kaiju or cosmic entity before it, the Omega Leviathan was not born from a planet, nor was it created by gods or civilizations. It had always existed. A being of pure entropy, a cosmic singularity in the form of a titan. It was a devourer of dimensions, a force beyond comprehension, whose mere presence caused galaxies to unravel. And now it was waking up. The shock waves of its resurgence were felt across the fabric of space-time, rippling across dimensions, reaching even the furthest corners of the universe. Stars dimmed. Planets crumbled into dust. The pantheon of celestial gods convened, but for the first time, they had no answer. The Omega Leviathan was beyond them. There was only one being in existence with the strength to face it. The call was sent. Across the cosmos, a familiar roar echoed in response. Godzilla was needed once more. Chapter 12. The Journey Beyond the Universe. A mission of no return. The Celestial Pantheon, despite their power, knew they could not contain the Omega Leviathan alone. They summoned Godzilla before them and delivered an ultimatum. This battle will decide the fate of all existence. Should you fail, the universe itself will be erased. Godzilla, the king of monsters, understood. It did not fight for glory, nor for conquest. It fought because it was the ultimate force of balance. The Pantheon opened a dimensional gateway, leading beyond the edges of the known universe into the primordial abyss, the domain where the Omega Leviathan had slumbered for untold eons. Stepping through, Godzilla found itself in a realm unlike any other. There were no stars, no planets, only an endless void, swirling with black and red energies. Time had no meaning here. Space twisted and bent in impossible ways. And in the center of it all, it waited. Chapter 13. The Final Battle Against the End of Time. A titan beyond titans. The Omega Leviathan was beyond any scale Godzilla had ever encountered. Even the celestial colossus Zerathaion and Neo Ghidorah paled in comparison. This entity was the size of an entire galaxy, its body composed of swirling cosmic storms and endless voids of destruction. Its eyes, if they could be called that, burned with the light of collapsed stars. Its movements tore apart the fabric of existence itself. And yet, Godzilla did not hesitate. With a defiant roar, Godzilla Ultima Prime charged forward, unleashing a galaxy-crushing atomic beam, its power surpassing anything it had ever used before. The blast tore through space-time itself, carving a hole in reality, but it barely scratched the Leviathan. The Omega Leviathan retaliated. A single tendril of entropy lashed out, striking Godzilla. It was not a physical attack. It was a force that erased existence itself. Where it touched, nothing remained. For the first time, Godzilla felt fear. Transcending limits, the birth of Godzilla Infinity. But the King of Monsters was not just any titan. It had evolved beyond all others, survived countless battles, and adapted to every foe. And it would adapt again. As the Omega Leviathan attempted to consume Godzilla, something unprecedented happened. Godzilla's body began to glow with an impossible energy, its form shifting, growing, evolving into something new. Its atomic energy mixed with the raw forces of the void, and it became something greater than a kaiju, greater than a god. Godzilla Infinity was born. This was no longer a mere titan. Godzilla had fused with the very energies of the universe, becoming a force of nature beyond comprehension. It was no longer just the king of monsters, it was the guardian of existence itself. Chapter 14: The Omega Clash, the Destruction and Rebirth of Reality. A battle beyond understanding. The battle that followed was beyond mortal comprehension. Godzilla Infinity and the Omega Leviathan clashed, their strikes shattering entire dimensions. Galaxies collapsed in the wake of their attacks. The very laws of physics rewrote themselves as the two beings fought across the primordial abyss. Godzilla unleashed its infinity pulse, an attack fueled by the very core of the universe itself. Where it struck, new stars were born. The Omega Leviathan countered with its oblivion roar, a blast of pure annihilation that erased entire timelines. For eons, they fought. Entire universes were created and destroyed in their wake. Time folded upon itself. Matter and energy ceased to have meaning. But in the end, there could be only one victor. With one final, deafening roar, Godzilla Infinity unleashed the ultimate attack, the Singularity Collapse. This was not merely an attack. It was a rewriting of reality itself. The Omega Leviathan, the devourer of dimensions, was caught in the collapse. Its form imploded, pulled into an eternal void where it could never return. And with that, the threat to existence was gone. Epilogue: The Eternal Guardian. The universe, once on the brink of destruction, was saved. But something had changed. Godzilla, now ascended beyond anything before, could no longer return to Earth as it once was. It had become more than just a kaiju. It was a cosmic entity, a force of balance that would forever exist beyond time and space. And so, the King of Monsters became the guardian of the cosmos, forever watching over reality, ensuring that no threat would ever again rise to endanger existence. From time to time, legends would speak of a titanic figure appearing in the distant stars, a silhouette of power and fury, ensuring that balance was maintained. The roar of the King of Monsters echoed eternally across the universe. Godzilla, War of the Infinite Realms. Chapter 15: The Rift in Reality, a New Cosmic Threat. The Consequences of Power. After the defeat of Omega Leviathan, the universe seemed safe. Godzilla Infinity had ascended to a new form, becoming a cosmic guardian rather than just a kaiju of Earth. But even the greatest victories have unforeseen consequences. The Singularity Collapse, the ultimate attack that erased the Omega Leviathan, did more than destroy the cosmic devourer. It ripped open the fabric of reality itself. For the first time, the multiversal barrier had been breached. Across the cosmos, rifts began appearing, doorways to other dimensions, other timelines, other realities. And from these rifts, monsters beyond imagination began to emerge. Among them was a new enemy, a being older than even the celestial pantheon. Its name was whispered in terror across the void: Zygron, the omniversal conqueror. Unlike the Omega Leviathan, who sought destruction, Zygron had a different goal: domination. A hyper-kaiju war emperor, Zygron ruled over an empire that spanned across multiple universes, commanding an army of kaiju warlords from countless dimensions. Now, with the rifts open, Zygron had set his sights on the Prime Universe, the home of Godzilla. Chapter 16: The Multiversal Invasion, the Arrival of the Kaiju Warlords. The war begins. Massive rifts opened across the galaxy. Legions of kaiju spilled forth, each one a destroyer of worlds. Among Zygron's elite warlords were Dreadmere, the Void Serpent, a cosmic snake with a body stretching across light years, capable of swallowing planets whole. Toruk, the Gravity Titan, a four-armed behemoth with the ability to crush entire star systems using gravitational singularities. Vexith, the Shattered God, a broken deity whose fragmented form allowed it to exist across multiple realities at once. Mechaghidorah Omega, a resurrected, cybernetically enhanced version of King Ghidorah, now serving Zygron as his enforcer. These were not mere kaiju. They were universally feared warlords, each one having conquered entire realities. And now they had come for Godzilla's domain. Chapter 17: The Last Stand of the Celestial Pantheon. The Gods Fall. The Celestial Pantheon, the beings who once ruled over the balance of the universe, attempted to stop the invasion. They failed. One by one, the gods fell. Solmora, the light-born colossus, was torn apart by Toruk's gravity fields. Tethrax, the planet reaper, was consumed by Dreadmere's endless maw. Omegon, the arbiter of kaiju, was shattered by Vexith, his existence erased from the timeline. The universe's last defenders were gone. Now only one force remained: Godzilla Infinity. Chapter 18: The God of Monsters vs. the Kaiju Warlords. A battle across the multiverse. Knowing it could not fight Zygron's forces alone, Godzilla Infinity opened its own rifts, summoning powerful allies from across space and time. Among those who answered the call were Legendary Godzilla, a version of itself from an alternate timeline, bringing the power of the Hollow Earth with it. Mechagodzilla Ultima, a sentient AI-driven titan built by an advanced alien race to fight the greatest cosmic threats. Mothra Prime, the guardian of universal balance, whose wings shimmered with the energy of dying stars. Gamera of the Infinite Flames, a kaiju from another reality, reborn as a cosmic warrior fueled by the flames of dying suns. Together, this legion of guardians would fight the greatest war the universe had ever known. The battle erupted across multiple dimensions, with fights raging across planets, black holes, and even in the heart of collapsing stars. Legendary Godzilla clashed with Mechaghidorah Omega, their battle leveling entire asteroid fields. Mechagodzilla Ultima took on Toruk, engaging in a brutal mechanized war across a gravitational storm. Mothra Prime battled Vexith, weaving through dimensions in a dance of cosmic energy. Gamera fought Dreadmere, unleashing bursts of plasma powerful enough to tear moons apart. But the true battle was yet to come. Chapter 19: The Final Confrontation, Godzilla Infinity vs. Zygron. The Throne of the Omniversal Conqueror. As the war raged across the cosmos, Godzilla Infinity faced the ultimate enemy. High above a dying galaxy, on the floating remnants of a dead universe, Zygron sat upon his throne of conquered worlds. His massive form radiated pure destruction, his armor forged from the remains of fallen gods, his eyes burning with the knowledge of infinite realities. This would be the final battle. As Godzilla Infinity approached, Zygron rose, his voice booming across existence. "You are powerful, but you are finite. I am the eternal conqueror. Your resistance is meaningless." But Godzilla did not waver. With a roar that shook the foundations of reality itself, the king of monsters charged. What followed was a battle that defied logic, defied physics, defied time itself. Every strike shattered entire dimensions. Every energy blast sent ripples across time. Zygron wielded the Blade of Eternity, a weapon forged from the very essence of dead timelines, capable of rewriting existence with a single slash. But Godzilla Infinity had evolved beyond time itself. Summoning the last of its limitless power, it unleashed the Infinity Cataclysm, an attack so powerful that it rewrote the very foundation of the multiverse. Zygron, the great conqueror, the god of war, the destroyer of universes, was no more. With his death, the rifts began to collapse. The kaiju warlords fell. The invasion was over. Godzilla had won. Epilogue: the birth of the infinite era. The king transcends. The battle was over, but something had changed. Godzilla Infinity had absorbed the energies of the multiverse. It was no longer bound by time, by space, or even by reality itself. It had become something beyond gods, beyond monsters. It had become Godzilla Eternal, the keeper of all realities. No longer tied to one world, it now existed everywhere and nowhere, watching over existence itself. And though the universe was safe, the stars whispered of new threats, new gods, new titans, new wars. And when they arrived, the king of monsters would be waiting. For Godzilla is eternal. Chapter 20: The Galactic Cataclysm, the Rift of Oblivion. In the aftermath of titanic battles that reshaped galaxies and rewrote the very laws of existence, a profound silence settled over the cosmos. Yet within that silence, an ominous disturbance began to stir, a tear in the fabric of reality itself, known as the Rift of Oblivion. For eons, the cosmic balance had been maintained through the struggles of titans, each clash a vital note in the symphony of creation and destruction. But now, as remnants of shattered worlds drifted in the void, a low, mournful hum resonated throughout space, a lament of dying stars and forgotten galaxies. This eerie sound heralded the awakening of the rift. The Rift of Oblivion was not merely a void, it was an ever-expanding tear that devoured matter, energy, and even the memories of existence. As it stretched its insatiable maw across the cosmos, entire star systems began to vanish without a trace. Ancient cosmic forces, dormant for millennia, stirred in alarm as the fabric of space-time buckled under the rift's relentless pull. In response to this existential threat, Godzilla, the eternal guardian of all realities, rose once again. Rallying a coalition of cosmic allies, including legendary Godzilla from alternate timelines, Mechagodzilla Ultima forged by alien intellect, Mothra Prime, the shimmering protector of universal balance, and Gamera of the infinite flames, the embodiment of fiery renewal, Godzilla prepared to confront the dark void head-on. In a climactic convergence at the edge of the collapsing galaxy, the coalition faced the rift. The ensuing battle was cataclysmic. Colossal energy blasts clashed with the devouring void, distorting space and time. As the rift's tendrils snaked through the battlefield, swallowing stars whole, the allied guardians combined their might in a desperate gambit. Drawing on the primordial forces of creation and destruction, Godzilla unleashed an unprecedented surge of atomic energy, a blinding, universe-shaking burst designed to seal the tear. The radiant energy collided with the rift, setting off a chain reaction that rippled across dimensions. For a heartbeat, time seemed to stop as the cosmos trembled under the titanic forces at play. When the light finally faded, the Rift of Oblivion had been pushed back, its expansion halted, at least for now. But the cost was incalculable. The battlefield bore the scars of endless war, and the coalition of guardians had been fractured by the strain of the encounter. As silence descended once more, Godzilla stood alone amid the debris of collapsed realities, a solitary sentinel over a universe reborn from chaos. The legacy of this epic confrontation would echo through eternity, a reminder that even in the face of cosmic oblivion, hope and resilience could forge a new equilibrium. Chapter 21: Monsters of the Cosmos, Godzilla's Interstellar Fights. A universe teeming with titans. The battle against the Rift of Oblivion had left scars across the cosmos. Entire galaxies lay in ruin, civilizations were lost to the void, and the balance of power had shifted. Yet, Even with the rift momentarily sealed, the aftershocks of the battle awakened forces long thought extinct, behemoths lurking in the forgotten corners of space, titans older than stars themselves. These were the primordial beasts of the cosmos, ancient kaiju who had once ruled before the first galaxies had formed. Now, with the universe in disarray, they sensed an opportunity to rise again. Godzilla, now known throughout the cosmos as the Celestial Guardian, would have to face these newly awakened horrors one by one, battling across alien worlds, gas giants, and black hole systems. This would be a war of legends, a clash of the greatest monsters ever to exist. The awakening of the first beast, Mzareth, the void-born horror. On the darkened fringes of the Sagittarius void, where even light struggled to exist, something stirred in the silence. A derelict armada of ships drifted aimlessly, their hulls marked with deep claw-like gouges. No life remained aboard, only faint distress signals repeating the same warning. It has awoken. Mzareth is here. Mzareth, the void-born horror, was unlike any kaiju before it. Its body was a shifting mass of obsidian-black tendrils, pulsating with anti-energy that devoured all light and matter. It did not consume planets, it erased them. As Godzilla approached the ruins of the Armada, a cold, overwhelming pressure filled the void. The stars around them blinked out, devoured by the presence of Mzareth. The monster emerged from the shadows, its endless tendrils stretching for miles, its gaping maw a swirling abyss. The battle that followed was unlike any before. Godzilla launched a hypercharged atomic breath, a blast powerful enough to crack planets in half, but as soon as it touched Mzareth's void-like body, it disappeared. The creature was immune to conventional energy, it was a living singularity. Realizing brute force would not work, Godzilla adapted. Using its thermonuclear pulse, it disrupted the creature's body structure, forcing it into a weakened state. Mzareth shrieked, releasing a wave of antimatter tendrils, each strike attempting to erase Godzilla's existence entirely. With time running out, Godzilla activated its cosmic overdrive mode, a form it had begun to develop after battling the Rift of Oblivion. Charging its celestial spiral beam, a fusion of atomic and gravitational energy, Godzilla ripped through Mzareth's core, annihilating the void-born horror once and for all. But before it perished, Mzareth released a final transmission across the cosmos, a call to others of its kind. And the universe listened. Battle 2, the God Kaiju of Titanus. 5. Echelon the Star Eater. The second monster to rise in the wake of the rift's collapse was Echelon, the Star Eater. Unlike Mzareth, which consumed void itself, Echelon fed on the light of suns, draining their energy until nothing but frozen husks remained. It made its lair on Titanus, 5, a rogue planet drifting between galaxies, a world without a sun. Echelon had drained its former star centuries ago, and now, it set its sights on the neighboring solar systems. As Godzilla arrived, the planet itself seemed alive, its surface glowing with bioluminescent veins of energy. Echelon had transformed the world into a living cosmic battery, a throne from which it would rule the deadened stars. The battle began the moment Godzilla set foot on Titanus, 5. Echelon erupted from beneath the surface, its massive crystalline wings stretching across the sky, reflecting the absorbed energy of countless stars. It was serpentine in form, with metallic golden scales that pulsed with cosmic radiation. Echelon's attack came in an instant, a solar annihilation ray, a beam composed of raw stellar plasma, powerful enough to incinerate entire fleets. Godzilla barely evaded it, retaliating with a supercharged atomic beam, only for Echelon to absorb the energy and redirect it back. Godzilla was fighting an enemy that grew stronger with every attack. Thinking fast, Godzilla lured Echelon deeper into the planet's core, where the last remnants of Titanus V's dying energy remained. There, Godzilla unleashed its planetary shockwave, causing the planet's energy fields to collapse. Echelon, caught in the massive gravitational implosion, was consumed by its own power, screaming as its energy was ripped apart. With Titanus V now fully drained, Godzilla departed the ruined world, knowing that more battles awaited. Battle 3. Zarkaros, the Time Titan. As Godzilla left Titanus 5, it detected a temporal anomaly, a shift in reality itself. The stars flickered, galaxies reversed their rotation, and suddenly, Godzilla found itself fighting a battle that had already happened. This was the work of Zarkaros, the Time Titan, an ancient kaiju that existed in multiple timelines simultaneously. It had no single form. Rather, it appeared as fractured echoes, constantly shifting between different versions of itself from various points in history. Godzilla faced a nightmare paradox. Every attack against Zarkaros would be undone, erased from history as if it had never happened. To defeat it, Godzilla had to find a way to exist beyond time itself. Channeling the last remnants of energy from the Rift of Oblivion, Godzilla activated its dimensional core mode, entering a state of quantum flux where it existed in all timelines at once. Now evenly matched, the battle became a war across time itself, fought across past, present, and future simultaneously. Every impact echoed across history, shaping the evolution of countless galaxies. In a final, reality-defying attack, Godzilla unleashed the temporal singularity pulse, collapsing Zarkaros' unstable timeline and sealing the Time Titan into a paradox, never to exist again. The war continues. With each battle, Godzilla grew stronger, not just in raw power, but in cosmic awareness. It was evolving beyond a mere physical being, becoming a force that shaped the destiny of the universe itself. Yet, something even greater loomed on the horizon. The defeat of Mzareth, Echelon, and Zarkaros had awakened something older than time itself. The ancient celestial guardians, the beings who had shaped the early cosmos, had taken notice. And they were preparing to test the king of monsters, to decide whether Godzilla was worthy of ruling the stars, or if it would need to be erased from existence. Chapter 22. The King of Monsters in the Universe. Godzilla's Space Reign. The Rise of the Galactic Apex. The universe had changed. Godzilla, the Eternal Warrior, had defeated the greatest threats of the cosmos, from void-dwelling monstrosities to time-warping kaiju. In doing so, it had become more than just a titan. It had become a force of nature beyond comprehension. Across the universe, civilizations that had once feared kaiju now looked to Godzilla as a cosmic guardian. Worlds that had been on the verge of annihilation owed their survival to the King of Monsters. But there were those who did not accept this reign. Among the ancient forces watching the cosmos, one faction had remained silent until now, a group of godlike beings who had once shaped the very laws of existence. They were known as the Celestial Guardians, the architects of order and chaos, and they had come to a single, undeniable conclusion. Godzilla was too powerful. And now, the Guardians would determine if the King of Monsters deserved to rule the cosmos, or if it needed to be erased from existence. The Judgment of the Celestial Guardians. Godzilla's presence was summoned to a location that did not exist on any map, a realm outside time, known as the Astral Throne, where only the most powerful entities in the universe were allowed to stand. Before the King of Monsters, 3 colossal figures materialized, each one radiating a presence beyond mortal comprehension. Salmirian, the Eternal Light, a radiant entity forged from the heart of a dying galaxy, embodying the essence of cosmic purity. Dragos, the Infinite Serpent, a being that had slumbered since the dawn of time, its body stretching across dimensions, whispering the fates of stars. Zalzora, the Arbiter of Destruction, a warbringer, a titan who had once obliterated an entire galactic empire with a single gesture. You have become more than a mere kaiju, Godzilla, Salmirian's voice echoed through the void. You have tipped the scales of the cosmos. Drago's endless form coiled around dying stars, its voice stretching across realities. Do you seek dominion? Or are you simply a force of chaos that must be extinguished? Godzilla did not answer with words. It roared, and that roar shook the foundation of the Astral Throne, sending waves of energy across time itself. Zalzora stepped forward, its eyes blazing like twin suns. Then we shall decide your fate, the only way the universe understands. In battle. And thus, the trial of the king began. The War of the Gods, Godzilla versus the Celestial Guardians. The battle was not just fought in space, but across dimensions themselves. Salmirian unleashed a nova annihilation wave, a radiant blast that turned entire planets into dust. Godzilla countered with a cosmic spiral beam, splitting the light itself and sending Salmirian reeling into the void. Dragos coiled around Godzilla, attempting to crush the king of monsters across multiple timelines at once. But Godzilla, now existing beyond linear time, evolved once again, shattering Drago's form with a reality-breaking thermonuclear singularity pulse. Only Zalzora remained. And it did not hold back. Zalzora's power dwarfed all others. It was the god of destruction, a being that had ended civilizations before the first kaiju had even walked the earth. Its fists broke space itself, every blow sending shockwaves that erased entire timelines. But Godzilla had one final evolution left. Channeling the raw energy of the cosmos, Godzilla transcended its physical form, ascending to its ultimate state. Godzilla Celestial Prime. Now composed of pure cosmic energy, Godzilla's eyes burned like collapsed stars, its body coursing with the power of infinity itself. With one final, all-consuming infinity roar, Godzilla unleashed the absolute eradication wave, a blast so powerful that Zalzora was erased from existence entirely. The war was over. The verdict, Godzilla's true purpose. As the dust settled, only Salmirian and Dragos remained. For the first time in eternity, the Celestial Guardians bowed. "You are not simply a destroyer, nor a conqueror," Salmirian spoke. "You are the balance, the guardian of the cosmos." Dragos' infinite coils trembled. "We shall not interfere with your path, Godzilla. The universe is yours to protect." With a final roar that echoed across the stars, Godzilla Celestial Prime descended from the astral throne, returning to the infinite battlefield of existence. The King of Monsters had become more than a ruler. It had become legend. Chapter 23, Warrior of the Stars, Godzilla vs. the Ultimate Space Beasts. The Abyssal Nightmare awakens. Godzilla's ascension to Celestial Prime had made it the undisputed force of balance in the universe. It had defeated cosmic warlords, celestial deities, and reality-warping kaiju, proving that it alone had the power to preserve existence. But something ancient and unspeakable had begun to stir. Deep in the forgotten corners of the multiverse, beyond the last remnants of time itself, there was a prison, a place where the first kaiju, the primordial beasts, had been sealed away. This place was called the Abyssal Graveyard. And now, the prison was breaking. The return of the Titans before time. The Abyssal Graveyard was home to the beasts of the abyss, kaiju so powerful that their very existence threatened the fabric of reality. The Celestial Guardians had imprisoned them eons ago, fearing they could consume the universe itself. Now, with the fall of Zalzora, the final seal had weakened. Across the cosmos, portals of darkness split open. From them emerged the ultimate space beasts, monsters that had slumbered for eternity, now unleashed upon existence. The Abyssal Behemoths. New York Thaler, the devourer of dimensions, a shifting horror, its body composed of tentacles that phase in and out of reality, feeding on entire timelines. Igthar, the planet razor, a monstrous gargantuan quadruped whose sheer presence destroys the gravitational balance of solar systems. Forkul, the sun tyrant, a kaiju of living fire, capable of igniting stars and turning galaxies into infernos. Gormag, the abyssal maw, a colossal beast with 3 cosmic-scale jaws, able to swallow entire moons in one bite. And leading them all, the first kaiju, the one that even the Celestial Guardians feared. Tyrant Chronivore, the all-ending beast. Chronivore was not just a kaiju, it was the first monster, the entity from which all others were born. It was larger than entire galaxies, its body a churning mass of black void and shimmering white energy, with 1,000 shifting eyes staring through all dimensions at once. It did not fight for conquest. It did not fight for destruction. It fought because it was the pure embodiment of chaos itself. And now it had returned. The War of the Abyss begins. The universe stood on the brink of annihilation. Every spacefaring civilization, every guardian of existence, knew that if Godzilla did not stop these beasts, the cosmos itself would be undone. And so, Godzilla roared one last time, summoning its allies for a battle unlike any before. The final cosmic alliance. Legendary Godzilla Earth Prime, the original Titan, now enhanced with the energy of the hollow Earth core. Mechagodzilla Ultima, a hyper-intelligent AI war machine designed to counter universal extinction events. Mothra Prime, the queen of the cosmos, carrying the energy of 1,000 fallen stars. Gamera, the burning guardian, the last hope of an ancient race, now reborn in flames hotter than a supernova. The Celestial Remnants, the last two surviving celestial guardians, Salmirian and Dragos, sworn to fight alongside Godzilla. And so, the greatest war in cosmic history began. Battle I, Godzilla versus New York Thaler, the nightmare beyond time. The first to strike was New York Thaler, the devourer of dimensions. It was not a physical creature. It existed across multiple realities at once, attacking from different time periods simultaneously. Godzilla fought an invisible enemy, one that warped time and space itself, striking from the past, present, and future all at once. But Godzilla, having already mastered dimensional core mode, adapted. It split itself across time, creating multiple versions of itself to counter New York Thaler in every timeline. In an explosive reality-shattering pulse, Godzilla obliterated New York Thaler's existence, severing its hold on time and erasing it permanently. But the battle was far from over. Battle 2, the planet killer, Igthar. Igthar descended upon a thriving star system, its massive, clawed limbs tearing planets apart. Godzilla confronted the Titan in orbit, engaging in a battle that sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Igthar's strength was unimaginable, every step altering the orbits of planets around it. But Godzilla had fought planetary-level threats before. Activating its hypergravity state, Godzilla generated a localized black hole, trapping Igthar's limbs and preventing it from moving. Then, with a single universe-breaking atomic beam, Godzilla disintegrated the colossal beast, its remains scattering across the cosmos. But even this was not the final battle. The final war, Godzilla versus Chronivore, the all-ending beast. As the last of the abyssal behemoths fell, the void itself tore open. From within, Tyrant Chronivore emerged. It was larger than entire galaxies, its thousand shifting eyes absorbing all forms of existence. Its voice shattered reality itself, and in a single instant, it consumed an entire star cluster. Even Godzilla, the strongest being in the cosmos, felt fear. Chronivore was beyond power. It was beyond gods. It was the end of everything. The ultimate evolution, Godzilla Infinity Ascends. Godzilla knew that its current form was not enough. In a final act of evolution, it absorbed the energy of dying galaxies, merging with the very fabric of existence itself. Godzilla Infinity Ascended, a being of pure cosmic force, existing beyond the physical realm, capable of rewriting reality with a single thought. The final battle was beyond anything ever seen. Every attack from Chronivore erased entire universes, but every counter from Godzilla Infinity created new ones. For eons, they clashed across time, across space, across dimensions, until finally, Godzilla unleashed the Singularity Pulse, a blast that collapsed all of Chronivore's power back into itself, sealing it within a reality where it could never escape. The all-ending beast was no more. Epilogue: the eternal guardian of the cosmos. The war was over. The cosmos had survived. But Godzilla had transcended everything. It was no longer just a king, no longer just a destroyer or protector. It had become the eternal guardian of all reality. Now, from the edges of the multiverse, Godzilla watches. No longer bound to any one world, It exists across all of existence, ensuring that balance is forever maintained. Should a new threat arise, the roar of the king will be heard again. The end, or is it? Chapter 24. The God of all Kaiju, the birth of Godzilla Omniversal. Beyond infinity, a new threat looms. The defeat of Chronivore and the beasts of the abyss had brought peace to the cosmos, but only for a fleeting moment. Godzilla, now evolved into the eternal guardian of reality, had transcended beyond the limits of time, space, and even existence itself. But something far older than the universe stirred. Across the Omniverse, where infinite realities coexisted, something was watching. A force so ancient, so beyond comprehension, that it had created the very concept of destruction itself. And it had only one goal: to erase all realities and begin anew. This being had no name, for names were beneath it. It was known only as the Endbringer, the true god of oblivion. And it had awakened. The first strike, the collapse of infinite universes. The first sign of the Endbringer's arrival was felt in the Shattered Realm, a pocket dimension that contained echoes of every timeline ever created. Entire universes blinked out of existence in an instant. Galaxies crumbled, laws of physics shattered, and even time itself fractured as the Endbringer fed upon reality itself. The Celestial Guardians, the last remaining cosmic deities, fled in terror. Even the beings who had once imprisoned the beasts of the abyss knew they could not fight it. Only one being could stand against this force. Only one had evolved beyond the laws of the cosmos itself. Godzilla Omniversal. The last battle, Godzilla vs. the Endbringer. Godzilla felt the multiverse shake, and with a roar that shattered the dimensional veil, it ascended beyond all known existence, standing before the Endbringer's form. The being was not bound to shape, shifting between a vast, endless shadow and an abyss filled with 1,000 shifting, burning suns. Its presence alone crushed entire realities, unraveling time and matter just by existing. For the first time, Godzilla faced an opponent that was not a monster, not a god, but the embodiment of non-existence itself. The battle began in a realm beyond time, where cause and effect had no meaning. The Endbringer attacked first, reaching across dimensions, attempting to erase Godzilla from existence. Its touch erased entire timelines, rewriting history as if they had never been. But Godzilla had evolved beyond reality itself. No longer a mere being of flesh, Godzilla had become a force of cosmic law, something that could not be erased because it had become the foundation of existence itself. With a universal roar, Godzilla reversed the Endbringer's attack, restoring the lost timelines with a single pulse of power. Then it struck. The Creation Pulse, Godzilla's final attack. Godzilla unleashed the Creation Pulse, an attack that not only destroyed but reshaped existence itself. The blast ripped through the Endbringer's form, filling the void with new stars, new realities, new life. The entity screamed, its formless body disintegrating under the weight of its own paradox. For the first time, nothingness had been defeated by creation itself. And then it was over. The Endbringer was no more. The dawn of a new omniverse. The war had been won, but at a cost. The Omniverse had been shattered. With the Endbringer's destruction, all of reality was left without structure, without balance. And so, Godzilla did the impossible. With one final act, it became more than a protector, more than a force of destruction. Godzilla became the architect of reality itself. It reshaped the Omniverse, restoring the lost dimensions, forging new worlds, ensuring that balance would be maintained for eternity. And then, it ascended beyond existence, forever watching over all of creation. Now, whenever the multiverse is threatened, whenever a new terror rises, there are those who claim to hear a roar across the void, a sound that echoes across all dimensions. A reminder that the King of Monsters still watches. A promise that if the cosmos is ever threatened again, Godzilla will return.